In one of the prior modules, we discussed how indexes do have a cost associated with them, so you want to make sure that all of the indexes in your database are serving a purpose and being used. Indexes that are not being used should either be modified or dropped, as you are paying the cost of maintaining this index but not reaping any of the rewards. The query on this slide uses the $SQL plan view to find all of the index operations of execution plans currently in the shared SQL area. It then performs an outer join with the All Indexes view so you can see what indexes are and aren't being used, and finally does a join with the $SQL stats view so you can see what statements are using those indexes. From this data, there are a number of items we can look at. First, we can look for indexes that are not being used by any execution plans. Those are indexes that we want to understand why they aren't being used and investigate further. Second, we can investigate what I call lightly used indexes. These are indexes that are only used by one or two statements, and maybe those statements only run a handful of times during the day. Now, if an index is lightly used, that doesn't mean that you should automatically drop it. After all, that one statement that uses the index may be a critical statement in your nightly batch process. But it is worthwhile to look at other indexes on the table and see if the statements using the lightly used indexes could use a different index on the table, because if they could, this would eliminate the need for one of the indexes, and that would save some overhead. Finally, be aware that the statement on the prior slide draws its data from the shared SQL area. So again, the data you see here is a snapshot of time and is only reflective of the statements currently in the shared SQL area. What you can do, though, is run this query multiple times a day to get a full picture of what indexes are being used and which ones aren't. What I like to do is set up this query to run on an hourly basis and dump its data into a table, and then after a few days, I have a pretty good picture of the index usage on a database.